Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. According to the case summary page, which is maintained by the clerk of court in Ada County, a subpoena of some kind in the Idaho versus Koberger case was issued on January 3rd, 2025. And then 3 days later, on January 6th, 2025, came the court order to the defense and the prosecution advising both of the dates that their materials for the upcoming January 23rd, 2025 hearings on the defendant's numerous motions to suppress evidence were due. There was a schedule that Judge Hippler set telling the defense that you are to produce to both the court and to the prosecution a listing of your exhibits and of any expert witnesses that you intend to call at that hearing and other materials. Prosecution was told when they were to produce the same. And then finally, there was a date just 2 days before the hearing on the 3rd when the defense would produce rebuttal to whatever the state's evidence was before this hearing. Now, that order was entered on January 6th, 2025, and we did a podcast episode describing in detail what it stated. If you haven't listened to it, please do. It will provide you with further details regarding the upcoming very important hearings, where whichever way Judge Hippler rules, whether in favor of the defense or the prosecution, it could change the course of the rest of this case. Because if it's in favor of the defense, it will basically mean that the subject of the motion to suppress that evidence will not be permitted to remain in the case and be presented to the jury. If it is denied, then the opposite happens. The state is free to present this evidence to the jury and to continue relying on it. I recently reported to you that on December 26th, 2024, that a subpoena ducis tecum was issued by Ann Taylor for the defense to an unnamed person, directing that person to appear at 8 a.m. at the Ada County Courthouse on January 3rd, 2025. In other words, an hour before the start of the 9:00 a.m. scheduled hearings on defense's multiple motions to suppress, and also to bring certain documents with him or her to the courthouse on that day. Now, we also noted that page 2 of that document stated that the person named could avoid having to come to the courthouse 8 a.m. on the 23rd of January if he or she contacted Ms. Taylor at a specific location with a number given before the hearing. But the problem here is we don't know who this person is and what documents he or she was directed to produce either at hearing or before the hearing on the 23rd. Now we see on the case summary page the issuance of a second subpoena on January 3rd, which is 3 days before the court's order of the 6th, which was published on the docket. Meantime, the second subpoena is still not published on the docket, and it is a public record. We know that by looking at the case summary page. The public records are the ones that look like a PDF. It has a little PDF icon next to it. The multitude, or Mount Everest as I like to call it, documents that remain under seal and therefore out of the public domain have a little lock and key next to it. So it is unclear why this subpoena is being held, who it's directed to, what that person is directed to do, whether to appear at a hearing or to produce documents or for some other purpose. But I will continue to monitor the docket for when this document does hit the docket and will report back to you. Until then, thank you for joining us here today.